Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Master J. Thank you for tuning back in. Today's video is going to be part 4 of the CJ Army Vet interview from Area 52, from the YouTube channel Area 52. It's a very long interview, that's why we're doing it in parts. And if you're not up to date, go check out part 1, 2, and 3. And let's get right back into 4. Let's not waste any time. Let's see what he's about to tell us.
Not only do we have several different species that have been interacting with us throughout all of history, I also believe that
different species.
Some of these cases, some of these things that have been happening could be.
My last update was that we know about 27, right? 27 different species that have visited Earth and, you know, have been doing some type of business, funky business up in here. I don't know.
In fact, future versions of ourselves visiting ourselves, you know, from.
What gives you that impression?
What gives me that impression is that I don't have any proof of
any concrete evidence, but just
I don't have any concrete evidence. It's just some of the things that I've read and seen online just indicate more or less that we are maybe in the future we developed a version of time travel and we visited our ancient selves, which would be us right now, and to try to help guide us into a better future. You know,
I don't know about you guys, but I believe in a lot of shit, but I kind of don't believe in time travel, not in that kind of sense, you know. I can't imagine someone traveling back in time and then sitting on the chair I'm sitting right now. It doesn't make sense to me. So maybe it would have to be different dimensions, different universes, something like that. But yeah, that's a hard topic. Tell me what you guys think about it.
In some way, yeah.
in some fashion. So I mean, I would not put that past that we are sometimes seeing future versions of ourselves mixed in with all these different other alien species.
That makes sense.
So
there's, you know, we talked about this over dinner a little bit yesterday, but like if you were to send back information in time, I think it would look like binary. It would look like binary.
Right.
Because if you were able to take photons and sort of, you know, flip them from, you know, these particles, flip them from positive to negative, you know, over an infinite distance, because they're entangled on a quantum level, they would instantly flip on the other side of that. But not only through distance, but through time, because it's quantum and time, you know, these things aren't beholden to time or space. So you could essentially, and maybe I'm talking out of my ass here, but I feel like you could sort of suspend these quantum bits or whatever,
right,
in one orientation in space and time at this very place, wait a bunch of years, and they'll be there for you when you get to over there.
At this point in time.
Yeah, at this point in space and time. And then you can just manipulate them, and they would automatically change them back then too, because they're entangled.
Right.
And so you'd be essentially able to communicate through time using like photonic, you know, communication in a way.
Photons are very impressive. And yes, the way they operate is quite fascinating. However, with lasers and things such as that, photons do dissipate over vast distances. So I mean, like when we're studying solar systems and stars, you know, the further the star is away from us, the dimmer the light is, and sometimes you can't see it with the naked eye. You have to use sensors and many different things to be able to draw. Or to be able to pick up that light, but that light dissipates over time. The photons dissipate, but they also have the ability to move around and go through things. So, I don't think we fully understand photons very well, and I think we probably should, you know, look into that further. But yeah, there is some I see some benefits by there.
Yeah, and it would make sense with the sort of future human hypothesis, at least.
Right.
When you look at Jim Peniston or you look at a case like yours, where information.
Guys, also let me know if the audio is good now. Like if the sound is good, if it's loud enough, if you hear me fine. I would like to know that feedback. If it's not great, let me know, please.
Needs to be given to you, and the only way to do that in a coherent manner, maybe using these binary impressions or whatever that are kind of like quantumly suspended in space-time and just being like, here, I don't know, maybe that's all science fiction, but here we are. I'd like to go back now to June 29th and your encounter.
Okay.
You have since then recalled more information through dreams that you've had.
Right.
And
right.
through other experiences
Yes.
that you've had subsequently. The messages have also since evolved into different lettering.
That's crazy.
Now voices, also impressions, dreams, like
Right.
The transmissions haven't stopped.
Correct.
They've gone on consistently.
Down.
Oh, they've slowed down.
They've slowed down for a while. They slowed down quite a bit. So I was getting the boxes and lines several years ago, and then they kind of shifted to lettering, capitalization, and lowercase, and then that was only for a very short period of time, and then they've evolved into I'm hearing the voices. I'm hearing voices. I'm hearing messages.
Male or female?
Mostly female, but sometimes male.
Mostly female.
Mostly female, sometimes male.
What is the tone of voice? Is it stern? Is it happy? Is it calm?
The tone has been
really worried.
For the most part pretty calm and at times stern. With the female voices sometimes. The male voices have been informative and comforting, but can get stern at times, just with tone. But it's, for the most part, I want to say it never overly aggressive, never overly friendly.
No extremes.
No extremes, just mild subtleties.
Okay.
Within. It is more or less just informative.
Can you give me an example of what that would sound like if a male voice if you were to interpret verbatim what one of these messages were? Can you give me a small example of what that would sound like to my ears?
Yeah. I mean, anybody could. I mean, it's just talking to Siri.
Really?
It's very similar, just not with such high fluctuations and excitement. Siri's super excited about everything, but you tone that down quite a bit, and it's just,
just informational,
regular informational.
The sky is blue, like that type of deal.
The sky is blue, and just subtleties, very subtle.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's got to be a whole other thing that freaks you out.
Yeah, well, that would freak me out.
Mixed with images,
images too.
Going back to the first time, since then I told you, over dinner last night that I've had some more dreams based on that night. Not a lot, just a few, and all it is just remembering a point in time that I wasn't aware of when it happened. And that was, my driver's side door was open and I was being pulled from my truck and I was being held. And it was only a short flashback moment. You know what I mean? And that flashback moment maybe lasted 8 to 11 seconds. In that flashback moment, but I clearly remember seeing my wife in the passenger seat, almost frozen in time, still staring up at it. Why I'm being pulled and struggling, and why I'm struggling. I'm not seeing what I'm struggling with, so I don't get a clear visual image of what I'm struggling with, of what I'm fighting with. That's pulling me from my truck. But I am seeing that I'm fighting and making noises and grunting, and the whole time I'm struggling, I'm looking for help, and so I'm seeing, and I'm seeing my wife sitting in the passenger seat, just basically frozen in time, looking up at what we were looking at,
Oh my gosh.
and
Oh my
I
gosh.
remember like, help me. And
I know, like, do
but she's
something.
not moving.
Like, do
She's
something.
like literally frozen, and I'm being pulled away. And as I'm pulled around the door is where, and then start to pull, uh, it disappears. And then it reappears as I'm directly underneath it. And I remember, I feel, I told you at dinner, right as I'm getting closer to it, that I cross like some sort of field where outside, when I was outside, you were hearing crickets and insects and stuff. As soon as I crossed that first field,
Silence.
it goes dead silent. And I feel it interacting with my body in some way. And I can't quite describe the feeling going through that first field. I do clearly recognize that it got dead silent as soon as I crossed that first field. And then I went into another field. And when I crossed that second field, as I was getting closer, that's when I began to feel more weightlessness.
Oh, so
And
that
it was
pulling
like a
up, that
sudden, I
typical
felt
UFO
more
pulling up,
weightlessness. And like I
I
couldn't
guess
move
it comes from
fast,
somewhere, right?
but it felt weightless to me. And so I clearly remember, maybe 7 seconds of that going through each field. And that first field, it was like silence. And the second field was weightlessness. And then I feel maybe a few more seconds of tugging.
Like an electric charge? Is that what this
Kind
field felt like?
kind of feel like an electric charge, but more or less like I couldn't even put it into words. Slowing my reaction time down, slowing down my movements,
So like in a
is the best
dream,
way
huh?
I could describe it.
But your head is still functioning at
My head
a
is still
normal
functioning.
rate,
I'm still looking around. I'm just not able to whip my head around. I'm not able to
like moving through
throw
molasses or something.
similar. Yes, so I'm like slowed motion,
Wow.
slowed physical motions. Okay, is the best way I could describe it. And then it disappears again. And then I had the dream where I was on the table and I was surrounded. It just goes back to that, and I drew an image. You have a
Yeah.
What would you guys think if you saw that? What would you guys think if you saw that? Look at him. Look at this guy. Freaky as hell. That would be scary, man. Some ugly aliens. Mm.
an image that I had drew.
Yep.
That's when I
where
would
it
faint.
showed
I would faint if I
the
would see that.
species that was around us. And in that picture, there was one that came in later and took this black contact out of its eye to get a better look at me of some. This is the impression that I got.
Okay. So let's take this step by step. You're coming into the craft. Now all of a sudden you've appeared on the table, right? This is the
Right.
memories flashing.
Right.
Are you seeing the walls of the craft at all? Are you
Yeah.
seeing any shapes?
Right. I'm able to see the walls. I'm able to see things around me.
What do the walls look like? What are they?
That's difficult because I wasn't staring at the walls. My focus was on what are these things.
Okay, fair.
How did my clothes get removed?
So you're naked?
Yes.
Oh,
You're naked on
well, that's a
hard
whole
surface?
nother legal
It
story
was a
right
hard
there.
surface. I felt weightless.
You felt weightless.
I felt
Without
weightless, but
without his consent,
slowed
that's not
reaction
good.
time,
That's
slowed-
not good.
Okay.
Can't just be
slowed,
taking off people's clothes.
slow motion.
Yeah, like
I guess slow.
He
my
unwillingly
motion-
had
my
to show his
motions,
little
like,
wiener.
Like if I was going to punch the air, I could do it fast. But in that environment, I was punching and it was going slower.
Well, maybe
And
for
the
their
power was
protection.
still there, but it felt slow.
That sounds like a dream
And
to
at
me.
one point, I do remember shoving the one off to my left pretty hard, and it went back and hit the wall. And I remember the wall was, I didn't see any grooves or cuts or anything, like it was pieced together. I couldn't quite tell because I wasn't really focused on the wall. I mean, I know there was a wall there. I know it seemed smooth. I know it seemed like it had some sort of, almost like if you were looking at a motherboard, slightly.
Okay.
Like, very similar.
Well,
Motherboard
that's
without
new.
any electronic components attached to it. You know,
Usually they say it's like just like gray and super smooth, no like lines or anything, and he's saying something completely different. It looks like a motherboard. That means like every inch has some type of technology in it, probably.
like it's got all the little um
Circuitry.
soldered circuitry in there, but without any of the components attached. It's the
Sure.
best way I could describe. And it was faint, and so and that's just going off of like split second, like
Yep.
images. I was more focused on what was happening.
So you got 2 to your side, and then you got 2 down by your feet.
Correct. Yeah.
And can you describe physically height, skin tone, complexion, what they look like for the audience?
Well, they're all roughly around the same size. They were not the exact same size. There were, I believe, 2 or 3 that were focused on their tasks. They were not associating my emotions with anything. They were just focused on doing what they were supposed to be doing. There was one that was down by my foot. That seemed a little bit older. Had some age behind its appearance, but was also trying to do its best to keep me calm. I was kind of freaking out, and so it was trying to calm me down, and make me relax or something. The others just seemed like they were focused on their tasks. Like this is what they do all the time. They're used to this. They showed very little emotion. The only one that did was the one that looked a little bit older. Right. Like the one that was in charge, or maybe the one.
Mm-hmm. He seemed like individual, like a
one that studied emotions and feelings, or has been studying emotions, or maybe.
Whoa.
I mean, I have no idea what position this one had, other than that it was trying to relax me and calm me down, because I was feeling like some sharp pains in my back and along my neck. I was fine, but I would feel like electric pain, stabbing pain, like stabbing pain mixed with electricity, like shocks and jolts in my neck and my back. And so, yeah, I remember that. And I remember the one that came in after took the contact out to look at me.
When he took it out, did he peel it?
No,
just popped it out.
Just popped out. It was like rubber or something, It was like some sort of
filament.
I was under the impression that maybe it was some sort of computer system,
silicone,
that had some imagery or some
user interface
technology that can maybe see in our environments, like this happened.
See a different spectrum,
maybe
of light. Maybe like this happened at night. Maybe it
like
was amplifying the darkness so that it can
just an idea.
Pull me from the truck. Like maybe this was one that was pulling me from the truck.
And his eye color.
He had blue. He had blue eyes.
Was it deep blue, dark blue, light blue?
It looked natural, like human.
Yeah.
Human blue.
But the eyes were much larger.
Yeah. Much larger.
How big would you say?
I would say 2 to 3 times.
So have you ever read the biology report of a guy who claimed that he worked on these beings?
No, I did not.
Okay, this might be interesting for you then.
I'm ready for that.
I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I will send you. I made a whole video on it.
Okay.
But I will touch on what he said about the eyes.
Okay.
Because he goes through, and maybe I'll go through the head and the ear here, but he goes through the brain, the fingers. It's a whole biology, and he breaks it all down. He said he worked on them.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he goes like the head contains 2 large oversized eyes, 2 nostrils without protuberance, a narrow mouth without lips, 2 ear canals without auricles, and there is a mandible, but the musculature is vestigial. There are no teeth, no tongue in the oral cavity, nasal cavity where the nostrils meet. Yada yada yada.
No tongue.
I
guess taste doesn't matter to them.
This is really interesting. Like the skin, the eyes are covered with a semi-transparent biosynthetic film that offers the same environmental protection while providing protection against certain wavelengths and light intensity. When the film is removed, a more traditional eye is revealed.
That's crazy.
It's about 3 times larger than a human eye, and there are no eyelids. The size of their eye suggests they have excellent night vision. It
No
seems
eyelids.
paradoxical to cover them with a semi-opaque film, and he says semi-opaque.
Right.
This is something that I found extremely interesting because normally when we picture these grays, we think dark black eyes.
Right.
Here, and that might only be because it's nighttime when you see them. But here he says semi-opaque,
Right.
so not completely blacked out.
You don't want blind.
Is that what you saw?
No, it appears black at nighttime.
At nighttime, but when you looked at the other ones, could you see their eyes behind?
There were. I wasn't focused on their eyes. I was focused on, this is hurting. What the hell's going on to me? I was in fight mode.
Fair enough. So he peeled away his eye to have a closer look at you, and
that's what I noticed is when this.
But I don't know. I don't know. Like, no matter how much danger I am in, I feel like I would look at the person's or the entity's eyes. Like, if you feel in danger, you always look. Like, if a dog attacks you, for example, you look into the dog's eyes to kind of see where this is all is going. So, I think I would be able to tell, like, if the eyes were really black or see-through or just like, that's kind of weird.
Pulled its contact, or this, I associate it with a contact, pulled this dark contact out of his eye. I could tell it was a normal eye, just much larger.
And it says here their sclera is the same color as their skin. The iris is pale gray in this one particular.
Okay.
And the pupil is black and oversized. The lens is rounder than a human, and the musculature used to adjust focus is more developed. So I'll send you this.
It's awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
Isn't that wild? Because
that is wild.
Kind of the only other time that I've heard.
You mentioned their ear canal.
Not
ears. I drew what I saw.
Yep.
And you don't see ears on these. I see like a lump or some sort of ridge, but not a defined ear, just more like a canal. I noticed that too.
I'll send you this file, and I'd love for you to just maybe go through it and have a read, because it is quite extensive.
Right.
And in my opinion, it rings pretty true. My conviction level on that being true is up there around 80%. I'm pretty high conviction on that, but so only because there are many.
Another 5% more believable.
He's a credible molecular biologist, but also, like, I mean, in the technical terms, I've had molecular biologists be like, yeah, he's, definitely a guy that knows his stuff, but also, like, he mentions things like the skin.
Yes.
And it's filled with tons of pores.
Okay.
And that they kind of secrete their excrement through their skin.
Okay.
That's how their digestive tract works, and it gives
nasty.
it like a. Do you remember a smell on board at all?
It would be foul smell,
I remember a smell, but it was very similar to the way a hospital smells, like static and clean, sterile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember them wearing some type of metallic. It was mildly metallic, but also had different shimmers and colors associated with what they were wearing or along their body.
Form-fitting?
Form-fitting, yeah. Very almost like they were like put in front of a screen, and the clothing was designed to fit them perfectly, kind of thing.
Whoa.
And move and stretch, with their bodies.
Yeah, no wrinkles or anything.
No, yeah, very, very, no wrinkles, nothing to snag on something. It seemed like a suit to be worn while you're repairing electronics. You don't want your clothing to snag on electronics and damage the things that you're trying to repair.
That's an interesting observation.
Quite detailed.
Were they communicating with you at this point?
Just the one at the end, and it seemed more telepathic. And I just got, I didn't get actual words. I was getting the feeling. The telepathic feeling, and her emotions relax, calm down, everything's okay. You're going to be all right. That's what I was receiving from the one at the end, the one that looked older to me.
Any other impressions that they were giving you?
That would scar me
in
for
this
life.
particular situation. No.
But yeah, an amazing experience.
And I don't remember I haven't had any flashbacks or memories of being put back in my truck.
Sure.
I had a moment where I was being pulled from the table. And I remember seeing the floor, and the floor was just solid, like solid off-white color. I didn't see any dirt or debris on the floor, but then, then it vanished. That's all I got was a little bit pulled from where I was being held on this almost weightless table to seeing the floor, and then nothing since then.
Okay. This wasn't your only run-in?
No, this was not my only run-in.
But wait, they put on his clothes though again, right? Because he said he was naked on the table, and when he's back at his truck, he's dressed again. So they understand how our clothes work, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
I had several very extremely vivid dreams of being on their vessel. Another time too, or several other times actually, where it wasn't just the tall grays or a Merthyr. There were smaller ones, smaller grays, and there was very short female, a long hair that didn't look like the grays at all. They looked like a totally different species. Just and very what's the word I'm looking for?
I want to see a picture. I hope you drew it too.
Very normal looking, such as if you take a normal 6-foot man and you just shrink him down to 3 feet. Proportionate is the word I'm looking for. Very proportionate to their body weight and size and height, like a normal person would look, just shrunken to about 3.5 feet.
Wow.
There were
crazy.
Several of them.
Imagine that.
And this goes to another situation that I had mentioned to you last night as well, where my wife and I both had an identical dream the very same night. We had an identical dream where we are both in an environment that's under attack, or something's attacking this small community or town where there's a few high-rise buildings, like 6-7 stories. And some of these high rises were collapsed. Where I was at, where she was at, was a little bit further away. And she was with another female running for cover and trying to get away from this. I was in a, what I remember as being in like a store, hiding behind some shelves while the attack was going on. And when the attack seemed to slow down, I came out like a lot of other people did. And there was this destroyed building, where they were pulling people out that were still alive. They were trying to rescue people. And I remember running over to help. I helped one person out, and then a female came out, but she was completely nude. And I was helping her out, and she had no sense of embarrassment, no sense of notion that she was nude, it was going to affect anything. Not trying to hide herself, just acting completely natural, like it's normal for her to be completely nude. And I was helping her out. And then I remember some chaos happening off to my right, and some more attacks were coming. So I was helping her over the last concrete pillar that she was climbing over, and we ran together. And where I was at before, in like this little the shop, was now collapsed. So I ran past it and further down the road into like a small house, and I ran with her there. And what's odd is my wife was dreaming that she was in a different structure and running to another house. But in the distance, she can see
you guys
another
think
house.
that is?
But
Was that really
the other
a dream?
house that she can see in the distance of her dream
What was that about?
was the house that I was running into.
That's odd.
And she clearly remembers seeing 2 people running into it. And so what's odd is we both had the same dream.
Yes, that is
the
odd.
same thing happening,
but in different places.
But we were in different places.
Whoa!
Of while it's happening.
I've never heard about something like that.
That was pretty wild. That we woke up and we're talking about it together. Like, oh my God, that's exactly what I dreamed. But I want
to have the same dream with my wife. That'd be nuts. Imagine you could control your dreams like that. Like Link, multiplayer dream, basically.
A different location.
That'd be awesome.
And we were sharing the information. It was pretty wild. It's pretty.
That is wild.
Yeah, I would consider that wild. But the thing is, you refer to these as dreams.
I refer to them as dreams because they happen when I'm sleeping.
Sure.
So I don't want to misguide any.
No, of course.
I want to be 100% transparent and honest. And when they happen to me while I'm sleeping, and I wake up and I can.
That was the question I had earlier. Like, or I was thinking to myself, like, how does he differentiate between if this really happened or like memories or dreams? Like, when do these memories appear to him? That's what I kind of want to know. Do they just come on a daily basis? Like, you know, I want to know when these memories that he was talking about, like when he was inside of the UFO, the aliens were working on him. When did those memories come back to him? I need to know how he differentiates them from dreams.
I remember them as if they actually happened the day before, like they happen vividly. And I can remember grabbing rock and touching the floor. I can remember smells. I can remember how things feel on my skin. I can remember wind or breeze on my face. So I mean, these aren't just dreams where all of the other senses are void. These are dreams where I'm feeling and smelling and hearing and experiencing with all my senses.
Okay,
that's what's happening, and so that's what makes it more
visceral and
right.
Well, some of these dreams, you've come back with injuries.
Yes.
And so that's where we say dreams, but my dreams don't leave strange,
mine don't
symmetrical marks on my body.
Correct.
Now these other dreams where you had these markings, and if you like, we can pull them up.
Yeah, we can pull up
wait, that's a whole nother new topic. We're gonna take another break now, and I am gonna continue on this video like maybe tomorrow, the day, no, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm playing soccer. The day after tomorrow, most likely, because it's another new wild story. So let's keep this one separate. All right. So guys, thank you for tuning back in. Like always, I am happy for every viewer that I get, and I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you have any ideas what I could react to, any video ideas or any topics you would like to see or new alien events, let me know. I will love to cover it. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you in like 3 or 4 days. Take care, guys.